heard of it, in fact.
They'd probably like us to say that lunch is on us. There's no such thing as free lunch.
And we didn't even get, what time is it? We haven't even had lunch. Listen, will you excuse us for an hour?
Yeah. No, actually, you know, the fun thing about the panel is, again, it's the interaction with you guys. We all know Stan from the books. We've read everything you've ever done, correct? Everybody's read every Stan Lee book?
Woo! Don't be real quick, there'll be a test.
Right. So we'd love to just have the question and answer. We'll have some people ask questions.
You want me to ask them a lot of questions?
You can go ahead. You want to ask them? Yeah, go ahead. No, we'll have them ask us. It'll be easier, I think. So I'm going to say, if anybody's got questions, I'm going to point to you. We're going to go right to the front here.
First of all, can you shake my hand?
Stanley wants to shake your hand.
What do I charge for that? I have a priceless. Oh God, don't give other people ideas. I think he's a plant.
I think Stan, watch your wallet, all right?
Some thrill. Take it a minute. Take it a minute. You know, when all of this started, and I was working at Marvel for Joe Simon and Jack Kirby years ago, and I was filling the inkwells for them and getting them their sandwiches for lunch. I swear, I never thought the day would come when somebody would say, "Can I come up there and shake your hand?" It's still hard to believe.
All right. Right here.
How much, when you were creating the first, X-Men, Spider-Man, all that, how much were they all affected by what was going on in society at that time, your own, personal bubble of the world?
How much was I affected by what?
By what was going on in the world when you created the FF and Spider-Man? How did you react to the world around you?
No matter what I write, I am affected by what is going on in the world. I am a man who is influenced by everything that happens. I am up on history, geography, politics. I don't know about influence. I gotta get a good villain, and I gotta give him something terrible to do that the readers will think the X-Men will never be able to beat him, and then I gotta figure out how they beat him. That's usually all that I or most of the writers would think about. Whatever was happening in the world, that was almost incidental. You might throw that in. You know, you might get a terrorist or whatever we had in those days and use them for a villain, but the big thing really was Dr. Doom was a good villain. How can I get one that's just, Magneto, a guy with magnetic power, that'll be good. That's all I ever think. Right now I'm thinking, a guy like Palmieri, you know,
Here we go.
a guy who you wouldn't suspect as being that evil, but deep down, you may be at the birth of one of the great new supervillains, Jimmy P.
Yeah, well, I try to be nice on the surface. But
It doesn't come across that way.
They didn't see me smacking you going, come on, old man, wake up.
You know how much we have to pay this man to do this with me? Nobody else would do it, no matter what you do.
He did sign all my books, so I will give it. No. I got to ask you a question. When you created the bad guys, did you ever model them after somebody you know that pissed you off or something like that?
No, I never knew anybody as evil as our villains. A big question. My eyes aren't that good, but I seem to see a lot of people way in the back. It looks like they're crowded in the back, but there are a lot of empty seats in the middle. Why aren't the people in the back sitting in the seats in the middle? Is this
fill up the middle section and if anybody wants to move on. All right, but when the music stops, everyone has to sit.
all right, now
New question?
I shouldn't say it. And that's why everybody says, Stan, mouth shut. Let the guy who's running.
That's all right. They'll be settled down in 10, 9, 8, countdown, 7, 6, 5, 4, look, it's working, 3, 2, 1, and 0. All right, terrific. That was another. Okay, I'll take a question right here. Cameraman. Got it, small. We'll look in the camera. It's one or the other.
I have two questions, actually. Do you sometimes not regret, but wish you kept your name, Stanley Lee Martin Lieber, on books instead of changing it to Stan Lee? And my second question is, what was the atmosphere like in 1954, 1955 in the comic book field when Orth introduced Seduction of the Innocents?
I heard what was the atmosphere like. I missed everything. The mood was terrible. The publishers were worried. They were dropping books. EC dropped all of their books, you know. And it was really pretty bad because this guy, Dr. Wortham, was telling Congress that, and the American people, that comic books, well, next to murder and arson, comic books were the worst. Reading comics was the worst crime. I mean, it was just terrible. He laid all the ills of mankind at the doorstep of comic books. And he had the name psychiatrist, so people listened to him. And it was a crusade, his own personal crusade. He wanted to destroy comics. But luckily, I was there to combat him. Comic books were one of the greatest aids to literacy because comics were the one things that young people would read without being told or forced to read. When you read something, even comics, you develop a facility at reading because you can't enjoy a comic book unless you can read it, unless you know what the story is. So the young kids who read comics became facile at reading. The more they read, the better they became. And then what happened is, once you become a reader, you don't just stay with comics, you go on to other things. You keep reading comics, but a whole world opens up for you. And after a while, my lectures got to be better received than this idiot Wortham's. He was really just a fanatic, and I don't know what his motivation was. I can't really believe that he seriously believed what he said. And it's a dull story. Let's go on to something happy, like talking about me. Yep.
Nice and loud, please. Thanks.
Okay, prior to 1960, you created all your great Marvel characters?
In 1960?
Prior to 1960.
Before the Marvel character.
Yes.
Oh.
Many of your photographs show you without your trademark mustache. What made you decide to grow your trademark mustache and become such a great promoter?
What inspired Stanley to grow the mustache?
Finish the second part and become such a great promoter. You know, I honest to God don't know why I grew the mustache. I think what happened was, like all the young guys in those days, I decided to grow a beard. So I had a beard for a while, you know, here. And my wife said, if you don't get rid of that ugly thing. So I'm pretty henpecked. I started getting rid of the beard, but I didn't have the heart to get rid of all of it. Maybe I'll leave a little bit up here and nobody will notice. I think that's what happened. She was so glad to see the beard go that she let me keep the mustache. There was a time when I wanted to shave off the mustache and somebody in the office said, you can't do that. We've had so many photos of you with the mustache.